So that's the reason I'm so happy about having this auto-injector that people could take at home. So which migraine patients would benefit from this? All of them would, but the patients who tell me that they take this medicine, which is specific for migraine, and it doesn't work. So they go to another type of the same kind of medicine, and it doesn't work. What that means to me is they're not absorbing it from their gastrointestinal tract. And the reason is because they're nauseated and vomiting, so things are coming up. They're not going down when you take the pill where you want to get it to. Or you take a medicine and it works, and the headache goes away or almost goes away, but comes back in 6 hours, 8 hours, or the next day. That happens often. And with this medicine, DHE, it works long. So when you take it, that headache is way less likely to come back later on in the day or the next day. And it works well for a long period of time. So in the studies that were done, they show that that medicine might work over a 2 to 3 day period. And so that headache is rarely going to come back.
Hey everyone, this is Jonathan Marx from GoToHealth. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We have another show today on migraine headaches, and this is really, again, important information. There are a few treatment options available for cluster headaches today, and while many medications exist for migraine, no single therapy works for everyone. Approximately 43 million Americans are living with migraine, and about 1 in 1,000 people are living with cluster headaches, conditions that frequently drive emergency department visits. Brekiya, which is an injection and it's self-administered, is the first and only FDA-approved DHE auto-injector for the acute treatment of migraine with or without aura and the acute treatment of cluster headaches in adults. It's available now for patient use. Currently administered intravenously in clinical settings, Brekiya enables DHE to be available in a convenient, self-administered auto-injector that requires no refrigeration, assembly, or priming of the device. This new route of administration for DHE may benefit patients who respond poorly to oral treatments or experience nausea, vomiting, or delayed dosing during attacks, and it's designed to provide patients with the potential for sustained headache relief. DHE can be used at any point during a migraine attack and may protect patients from headache recurrence. You should talk with your doctor about your current health conditions and the advisability of taking Brekiya, and you can learn more at brekiya.com. That's Brekiya, brekiya.com. Our guest today is Alan M. Rapoport, MD. He's a distinguished neurologist and professor of neurology at the David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA, where he teaches residents since 2006. He also teaches at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. He's the founder and director emeritus of the New England Center for Headache in Stamford, Connecticut, and served as president of the International Headache Society from 2013 to 2015. He's board certified in both neurology and headache medicine. Over the course of 59 years, he has taken care of neurologic patients, authored more than 350 scientific publications, and contributed to numerous books and chapters on headache and migraine treatment. He's really worth listening to. We're building a community of folks who want to take better care of themselves and advocate for themselves with evidence-based health information. If you're enjoying our show, please give us a thumbs up or a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, or wherever you're listening to us. This helps us spread the word. Thanks so much in advance. So welcome to the show, Dr. Alan Rapoport. How are you today?
I'm doing well today. How about yourself?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. So why are migraine and cluster headaches so difficult to treat, and how do they really impact people's daily lives?
Good question. Let me tell you a little bit about each one, and then you'll see why. So let's start with migraine. It's much more common than cluster headache. It's about 13% of the population and 20% in women.
Wow.
More in women than in men. And it's a lifelong disease. You often develop it in childhood, or certainly by the time you're a teen and you've got it by the time you're 25 for sure. And it might go away later on, but it might not happen till you're in your 50s or 60s. So it's a lifelong disease. And most people, when they're in the thrust of it, they will have about 2 to 3 attacks a month on average. Some unfortunate people will have 25 attacks a month. Some will have one a year. It's variable, but the average and what I see is 2 to 3 times a month.
Mm-hmm.
And a migraine attack will start gradually, and it'll be a pain in the forehead, the temple, in and around the eye, and it'll build over 1 to 3 hours to become rather severe, throbbing pain, often on one side. It can be on both sides, but it's usually on one side. It's so bad that if you move, it'll start throbbing more and hurting more. So people learn to stay very still. Along with this bad pain, which could last a good day or even 2 days or up to 3 days if it's not treated well, along with that, they're nauseated most of the time. They may be vomiting. Light bothers them, sound bothers them, and they can't think well, they can't speak well. They really become dysfunctional. And many of them, without good treatment, will lie in bed till it goes away, which could be a good most of the day. And they don't want to move. They don't want light coming into the room. And if you're a mother taking care of kids or if you're at work, you really can't function very well with it without the proper treatment. And there are plenty of treatments for migraine. They've been around for a while. Actually, this DHE, which is in Brekiya Auto-Injector, has been around for 70 years. So we had it. But the problem is it's only given by injection, and it's very hard to send somebody for an injection of DHE. So that's the reason I'm so happy about having this auto-injector that people could take at home. So which migraine patients would benefit from this? All of them would, but the patients who tell me that they take this medicine, which is specific for migraine, and it doesn't work. So they go to another type of the same kind of medicine, and it doesn't work. What that means to me is they're not absorbing it from their gastrointestinal tract. And the reason is because they're nauseated and vomiting, so things are coming up. They're not going down when you take the pill where you want to get it to. Or you take a medicine and it works, and the headache goes away or almost goes away, but comes back in 6 hours, 8 hours, or the next day. That happens often. And with this medicine, DHE, it works long. So when you take it, that headache is way less likely to come back later on in the day or the next day. And it works well for a long period of time. So in the studies that were done, they show that that medicine might work over a 2 to 3 day period. And so that headache is rarely going to come back.
So, doctor, you've described migraine headaches. Tell us about what cluster headaches are and how they differ.
Okay. Cluster headaches occur slightly more in men, and they're actually much more severe pain, if you can imagine that. The pain is so severe in cluster headache that people can't stay still. They run, they rock back and forth. I've had patients bang their head against the wall because that relieved the pain from the cluster headache.
Wow.
The good news is it only lasts for about 45 minutes to 3 hours. The bad news is it's recurrent throughout the day, so it might happen 3 or 4 times a day and wake someone up at night. It's in the same area of the skull, in or behind the eye or just above the eyebrow, not as diffuse as migraine, and it's always on one side, and it rarely switches sides. And during the headache, the eye turns red, it starts to tear, the eye begins to close. There might be a stuffed nostril on the same side, and it might be running a bit. And the patient just can't stand this pain, and then it goes away, and they know it's going to come back at some point in time. And the way it comes is kind of out of the blue. They're fine, and one day, often a man in their 30s or 40s, but it could happen at any age, starts to get these attacks, and 8 weeks later, they'll go away. And then it'll come back in 6 months or a year. And very unfortunate people might have chronic cluster headache. Luckily, that's less than 20% of them. And they will have it on and on for years without a break. And so cluster is really terrible. And we don't have a lot of treatments for it. There's only one injection that is used for it. And we need injections because it comes on so quickly. You take something by mouth, it won't work for many minutes. And in 45 minutes, the headache may be gone, but it's so severe. So we need an injection, and the injection that is already approved really is not a bad one, but it doesn't work in everybody. So everyone is always looking for alternatives. And Brekiya Auto-Injector is a really good alternative that I have used in the past.
So let's talk about the Brekiya Auto-Injector. How is it different from other treatments that are currently available for migraine and cluster headaches?
So migraine is usually treated with pills. And those pills are many different types, and some of the better ones have been available since 30 years ago. And there are some newer ones, and there's plenty of medication for migraine. But as I say, they don't always work in certain people or in many people. They don't always work because of the lack of absorption through the GI tract. And they don't always work because they seem to work at the beginning, but the headache recurs. So if you have an injectable that works fairly quickly, that works long, and so the headache can't come back, and works to bypass the GI tract so there's good absorption, you've kind of solved a lot of the problems that migraine patients have had with their pills that they've been taking. If they're doing well on a pill, there's no reason to switch them. But a lot of people aren't doing well. Probably more people than not aren't doing that well on the pill. And that's why this auto-injector is a big advance, not with a new medicine, but with an old tried and true medicine, but a new route of delivery.
So under what conditions should a patient think about getting this or asking a doctor for this auto-injection? And let me just tell people where they can go to learn more for just a second. It's Brekiya. It's Brekiya. So where people want to go is brekiya.com. That's Brekiya, Brekiya.com. So tell us, doctor, when a patient should think about asking their doctor about whether this auto-injector would be a good option for them.
If they're not really happy with their treatment, they should call today. And the reason is it's available. There's a good chance that the doctor won't know about it because it's quite new on the market. DHE isn't new, but if you're not a headache specialist, you probably didn't use DHE in your practice. And most emergency rooms don't cover DHE or don't have DHE. So a lot of non-headache specialists, certainly non-neurologists like your own general doctor, probably wouldn't know about Brekiya auto-injector or what's in it, dihydroergotamine or DHE. And since it has to be ordered from a specialty pharmacy, it's very important that the doctor know about it. So the doctor may have to go to Brekiya.com. They could also go to the website of the maker and seller of this, which is Amneal, AMNEAL.com, and find out more about it and how to order it. And the two specialty pharmacies where it can be ordered from are Walgreens Specialty Pharmacy or sterling specialty pharmacy. So if a patient walks into a Walgreens and says, I want Brekiya Auto-Injector, they won't know what they're talking about because it only comes from specialty pharmacies, which then ship it right to their house. So they've made it really easy for the patient.
And this is called an auto-injector. Can you describe what does it mean to be an auto-injector?
Yes. An auto-injector means that the patient can take it themselves. So it comes it looks like something like a syringe, but it's not like a medical syringe. It's covered over. You don't really see what's inside it, and you don't see a needle. And all the patient has to do is take it out of the box, take the top off it, comes right off, a red top by pulling it, place it on the front of their thigh, any place above the knee and below the hip, but right in the middle of their thigh. Press it down a little bit of pressure, and on the top of it, there is a release button. And they can do it with one hand, or they could use the other hand and just press the release button. And as soon as they do that, the patient will hear, and it's the patient that's doing this.
Yes.
The patient will hear a click, and over a 10-second period, they'll feel the medicine going in. Then they're finished. They just lift it up, and it's easily disposable. And they can use it up to 3 times in one day, or 6 times in a week, and many times in a month. But they don't need it that much because once you use it, hopefully it's going to work well, and it works long. So in 3 days, they probably won't need anything else.
How is word about this getting out to doctors? You said their primary care physician may not know about this. How are doctors finding out about this? And will a physician accept a recommendation from a patient about Brekiya?
Any good physician should listen to a patient when they say they know about something that they'd like to try, and should find out about it. And I was in this exact situation 30 years ago when the first triptan came out. They went on television, they made a lot of noise about it, and we had hundreds of calls in that day, and many doctors had no idea what it was. They found out about it because the patient said, it sounds good, I want it, and the doctor had to find out about it. So hopefully the company has other ways of informing doctors about it.
Right.
But to be honest, at the beginning, doctors may not hear about it. My own doctor probably has no clue about this.
Okay.
And, since I don't have migraine, I'm not going to call her and say I want it, but maybe the next time I go in there, I'll tell her about it. But yeah, you're right. It really is an issue when it's a new drug because patients don't know. But they should know. And I want to make sure that patients know that not everybody should take it, but if you're one of the ones that can take it and you have migraine with or without aura, and you're an adult over the age of 18, or cluster headache, you should be able to take it, and you might find that it's very helpful for you.
So this is a really great example, and we've talked about this before on other shows about patients advocating for themselves. And this is really what Dr. Rapoport is talking about. If your doctor doesn't know about this medication, you need to advocate for yourself and either get your doctor to look into this or possibly go to see another specialist. So this is about Brekiya.com. It's BREKIYA, Brekiya.com. Doctor, what kind of message would you like to leave with people today? Or is there a question I haven't asked that I should have asked?
Well, you've asked all the right questions, but I would emphasize simply anybody with migraine or cluster headache who's not doing as well as they like should look into Brekiya Auto-Injector because it is a different way of treating. You're using an injection, but if you're not doing well, this could really be helpful for you. And anyone whose headache doesn't get better with pills should think about bypassing the gastrointestinal tract with an injection. Anyone whose headache gets better but comes back should think about using this because DHE works long, and you don't have to take it at the very beginning of the migraine. So I think any of your listeners, or if your listeners have relatives that have migraine or cluster headache, they should look into it to see if it's something they would like to take. And then definitely, as you said, they should advocate for themselves. Migraineurs have sort of learned to do this because migraine is not very well taken care of by all kinds of organizations like insurance companies for medical and so on. And they've learned to advocate for themselves. Cluster headache patients have to learn because it's such a horrible disease. But if the doctor doesn't know, educate the doctor. If they don't like that, you should think about how good that doctor is, really, in my opinion.
Great. Thank you so much for being with us today, Dr. Rapoport, and sharing this important information. We've been talking with Dr. Alan M. Rapoport, MD. He's a distinguished neurologist and professor of neurology at the David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA, where he teaches residents since 2006. He also teaches at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. He's the founder and director emeritus of the New England Center for Headache in Stamford, Connecticut, and served as president of the International Headache Society from 2013 to 2015. Thanks so much for being with us today, Doctor.
Thank you for an excellent interview.
Good. I appreciate it. This has been Jonathan Marx with GoToHealth. And as we say at the end of every show, remember, go to health. God bless. We'll see you again next time. Take care. Thanks, Doctor.
Yeah, you're a great interviewer.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in today to Go to Health. You are one of almost 10,000 people per day who enjoy the evidence-based health information offered by our guest health experts. You can watch us on our website and YouTube and listen to us on 8 podcast networks. Be sure to join Jonathan Marx in our upcoming shows each week. If you like our show, please share this episode with your friends and colleagues. You can subscribe to the show, join our email list, send us feedback, browse through the online store, and view our library of over 150 shows at gotohealthmedia.com. See you next time, and remember to elevate your life with Go to Health.